Ms. Chris, I'm most interested in, or Dr. Chris, the approach NOAA uses on a bill such as 4051, because it's an appointment of a task force to look into an issue that you indicated overlaps substantially with NOAA's jurisdiction. So I guess my first question would be, why do you think that this task force is necessary? Doesn't it reflect a shortcoming on NOAA's part? And if not, then why are you not objecting strenuously to the bill if it's not necessary?
Chairman Bentz, thank you for your question. I appreciate that. We, as I think is stated in our testimony, we are willing to work with the committee and the members on this bill. We did just want to register our concerns that we, through a number of mechanisms, are taking a deep look at depredation and just see a number of overlaps, and wanted to make sure that those were addressed.
So let's go back to your phrase, the deep look. Tell me what that means.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't hear.
You said you're taking a deep look. Tell me what that means. Define it for me.
Yes, we're looking at a number of through a number of different mechanisms, including the bycatch reduction engineering program. We're using genetic sources of scientific information, looking at new engineering technologies, a broad spectrum of ways to understand depredation. To date, we don't have enough information about who's eating who's participating in this to make solid management decisions that would allow a reduction in depredation. What we do know is that the animals, for solutions that seem to have short-term, they are effective in the short term, that the animals are capable of adapting and acclimatizing and adjusting to those technologies. And so it remains confounding and requires a great deal more research to understand how to minimize and mitigate the impacts of depredation.
Right, and so I've seen your agency's challenged with any number of difficult scientific issues, and this is evident, I know, in my discussions with your agency regarding studies being done in the Pacific concerning the survival or not of salmon species that come down various rivers on the West Coast. And my question to you is, based on what we're looking at when it comes to these shark populations, first of all, how do you decide how you're going to focus on these problems? And then secondly, how do you tell the interested parties, such as those here today, when you're going to finish these studies? Or is this a kind of an ongoing, forever sort of a study that never quite gets done because of all kinds of explanations such as the ones you just provided? In other words, when will we have an answer from you as to the sharks? I'd also, it's off today's agenda, but I'd like to have the same answers regarding the Pacific, but today we're talking about sharks. So when will we have an answer?
Thank you, Congressman. I appreciate that question. As a scientist myself, I will share that often the information we gain as we look into things introduces new questions that then we continue to follow.
And that process could go on for a very long time. So just please, a year, 2 years, 10 years, when? For
a specific depredation?
Yes.
I cannot give you a specific time frame for when we would have a definitive answer on that.
I'm not surprised, but thank you for being here today, and I appreciate your work. It's a challenging job. Mr. Gerton, the cost, how much is the cost of a permit for the rancher if they want to take advantage of your program to kill these black vultures?
We start, can you hear me, sir? It was $100 before we did the sub-permits to the entities in each state, and then there's a various cost structure in each state as well.
It's been suggested that your system doesn't work well, that the computer program is very, very difficult to use. Is that true?
I admit, sir, it has been clunky at times. We're investing a lot in our new e-permit system, which is streamlining a lot of that. But in any case, we're given these block permits to each entity in the state. They're then administering the actual allocation of the take to the individual producers. So that would be perhaps more of a question for us to work on with our state partners.
Thank you. My time has expired.